Right, good morning. How's it going? Hey, Ferlansky. Happy Friday. We're here. We're here to end the week strong. All right. Kind of a coding day, I think, today. Happy Friday. 1 hour to the weekend for you? Nice. Very nice. Yeah, for me, it's 8 in the morning, but close enough. What'd you miss yesterday? Nothing really. We're just starting to think about how we want to organize our C# code base. So we kind of just continued thinking about, systems architecture. We're implementing a very simple one here. I'm kind of constantly shuffling things around as I change my mind. So we just need to start making stuff. Oh, did I go live? No, I didn't. Good catch. Good catch. Let me do that right now. I was like, am I forgetting something? We're going live. Happy Friday. All right, we have livened. We've gone live. All right, now we're ready to go. Now we're ready to roll here. So yeah, I've been thinking about stuff. We're just gonna start building the blocks. So like, here's our block, which is like the core storage unit for a given coordinate space in XYZ. Right now I just have a bit flag that specifies its composition. There's probably a better way to do this. We could probably not do it this way, but I'd like to be able to just have a way of evaluating stuff beyond just asking if a component is null or not. But this might be additional state that we need to manage, which we don't want to do. We might eventually just be like, but if we're only operating on structs, I think we kind of need that. Unless we use the nullable, like a nullable struct, but I don't know. Let's wait and see. So we're gonna need to define a bunch of managers in our game manager. That's one thing we're gonna do. And we need to just build out different like types. So we've got our block, and the block consists of either nothing, a deck, the bulk, which is like the wall chunks, the doors, decos, keeps track of its own composition, and then we just need to start building these out. I'm kind of thinking different directions about how to do this. I kind of wanted to just throw a vector 4 in here that just has a value, because a deck really just needs an XYZ direction and then maybe a fourth value if it's like a variation. So I could pack that all in as a vector 4, but I probably should just have them be separate integers and then provide like a way of returning a vector. It's probably the right way to do it. Let's just start making more of these. So we need a bulk struct. We need a door struct. I guess technically a deco. No, we're not really using it for anything. Should probably have it just in case, just so I can define it. So our block will just consist of this. It'll just consist of, you know, public. Public deck. Can't do that. It's not great form to have to just name it like this, but do it until I run into a problem. And we're just going to stick all the data directly on here, just so that we have some data locality, so that we can iterate over the array of all the blocks and just have all of the data there. We're not jumping around. Hopefully get a little bit of cache efficiency there. These structs are all really small, so I don't think we really care. And let's start we're just gonna start making stuff here. So we also need a bunch of managers. I should probably make a folder. Manager folder. Start throwing the managers in there. So for our current purposes, we also need a yard manager. We need a ship manager. We will need a crew manager and stuff, but let's just focus on what we actually need right now, which is a hall manager. These are really systems, but I'm not going to call them systems. I'm just going to call them managers. I feel like the distinction is not meaningful. I think it's easier to talk about them if they're managers. But they're going to operate like a system, like an ECS system. Like they're going to handle all of the logic for whatever data types they're associated with. Game manager is going to know about all of them. I'm kind of tempted to put the input handling somewhere else. Right now we just have it in the game manager. I kind of like this because the input handler is an auto load and the game manager is the only manager so far that is in the scene tree. So I kind of want it all to pass through the game manager, and then if the game manager just ends up handing it off to an input manager, that's fine. A bunch of these. I'm gonna get really used to the autocomplete really quickly. It's been a while since I've used an IDE that actually has all of these features. I've been kind of just doing everything in Godot the Godot editor, which I like. I like the minimalist nature of that editor. So this is all we need to start, because the yard manager controls the editing of everything. Ship manager is obviously the thing that holds, or not holds, but the thing that, you know, processes ship systems and things like that. Hull manager is specifically about keeping track of hull types and stuff like that, like determining hull types based on block composition. And then the tile manager is the thing that will do the actual auto tiling. Maybe we need like a view manager. Or is that just a state? No, a view isn't really a state. We'll grab a view manager just for things like camera rotation. The view affects the hull and the tile and everything else. So I'm gonna put the view manager up top. It's not a perfect organizing principle here, but it'll be okay. But yeah, we're really just trying to replicate all the functionality we currently have in GDScript over in C# land. Oh, we'll need like a ship partitioning system. That can be under the ship manager. Yeah. Space partitioning can just be a function of the ship manager. We will want to rewrite our algorithm. Our flood fill algorithm is pretty inefficient, but it's cool. It's fine right now. But how are you doing for Lansky? Any weekend plans? At the moment, the managers are going to own all of the data associated with them, which I don't love, but I don't have a current plan to do better than that. No, actually the game managers should probably own this data, especially because we just have a single array that represents all of the blocks in the whole game. Lansky, not really. You're getting quite cold here, so probably doing very little. Slowly dabbling in C++ at your own pace, but that's it. Nice. I got a book that's written in C++, so I'm hoping it'll help me learn a little. Warami. Hi, can you play a demo of the game? Welcome to the channel. We're working on a tool at the moment for the game. We're trying to make... That's the wrong scene. And did I just get some errors? Oh, I need to rebuild. When did you start using Godot? About a year ago. We've done a couple of game jams. I can show you some of them if you're interested. We're making an FTL kind of like game, this isometric kind of style FTL-like game. And right now we've been working on a tool set. This is not the right scene. Game manager is unhappy. There we go. Right now we're working on a tool set for building three-dimensional ships. So we've got this auto tiler and this build tool, so we can build the rooms of a ship. So we can build a couple of rooms here. Put a wall between them, put a door between them, put like an airlock to the outside. We can rotate. we can build multiple layers. So we're working on kind of this 3D ship management game where you manage the crew and the systems of these bigger ships, or bigger of these ships here that I'm kind of building. So we've been working on tools to really help me make the game. That's been kind of the goal so far with this specific project. How are you doing? Have you been working in Godot or Ami? We've made a few games in Godot. Our most recent one was this 3D game here. Where do I have the build for this? You're one of the few Godot C# users. You want C# to be popular in Godot? Oh, there's a really great one called Sorcery Story over on Twitch. I've been learning a lot from her. This was the last game we made. The volume's okay for that. Oh, you can't even hear it. This is the last game we made for a 72-hour game jam. It's 3D. It's my first 3D game in Godot. I made this a month or two ago. So I really like Godot so far. It's really easy to knock stuff up by yourself quickly. Like we did this whole thing in 72 hours. Not all the art assets, but the whole game. Oh God. But yeah, I'm using C# for my new project for speed and somewhat familiarity. I do come from Unity. This is like a little like crazy taxi kind of style game where you're picking up packages or dropping off packages technically. Yeah, we're just getting started with C# on our project here. All right, enough of that. I just wanted to show a little of that off. Very proud of that. But yeah, for this we're actually going to be doing some of it in GDScript and some of it in C#. We have kind of a split set of responsibilities here. Where's a great way to put this? Game loop, I guess. So we've got this like process cycle, which is going to be like, which is typical of any game, which is you've got UI, you go to gameplay, and then you end up with rendering. Great project, thank you. That was for the solo dev game jam number 4. I have a Ludum Dare from earlier this year, but I'm trying to finish up a post jam version of it that I haven't touched in months. But I'll share that again. So what we're trying to do is the UI elements are all going to be done in GDScript as nodes and scenes. So anything you can see, obviously, as well as all the UI and stuff, like any characters on screen are going to be done in GDScript. And then everything is going to be funneled by a game manager into this gameplay land, which is going to be pure data, not backed by nodes or anything. And that's where we'll do all our simulation. And we're doing that part in C#. And then we're going to end up with nodes rendering. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Cubus. How's it going? How are you doing? If I use a PS1 shader, it's actually just a viewport. I'll show you what we did. Let me grab the right version of Godot here. So for this project, what we actually did, it looks like a PS1 shader, but it's actually just a viewport. Where's the right scene? City. So the game is actually full HD. And we are just using a sub viewport on the vehicle here. Where is it? So you just have this sub viewport that's set to like 320 by 180, and the game is just rendering it at that resolution. It's kind of incredible. Just rendering everything down to this low resolution, no shader needed. Kind of super powerful viewports in sub viewports in Godot. It's really incredible. Yeah, it has a PS. Yeah, it got a very purposeful PS1 look. Don't save. All right, so we're currently just enumerating like all the managers we're gonna need. If I can't represent it with a 4-letter word, I'm not gonna use it. Going well, that's good. That's good to keep this. Hey, Nastia NVR, how's it going? Nastia, how are you doing? Happy Friday. What do I dislike about Godot? That's an interesting question. What do I dislike about Godot? Some of the things I don't like about Godot are just some GD script things, like let's inspect a vector. A vector 3 is a class. Don't love that. Don't love that everything is classes. And they're kind of, everything is organized heavily based on inheritance. Like it's deeply like OOP stuff, object-oriented stuff. So I'm trying to move more towards compositional stuff. And for me, that's going to be doing a lot more stuff with just structs in C#, just trying to get a little closer down to the values of everything. So we're going to be like trying to be tightly iterating over this whole 3-dimensional block set, just like the buildable area for all the ships. So I like GD script, honestly. I'm okay with it. The other thing that's confusing is that the Y coordinate is down. I don't love that, but I can get used to it. No nullable types in GD script. That's a good point, Cubus. I was just thinking about that for our structs. You can do composition, but it still needs to be a node or a resource usually. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I don't like about Godot, is it's kind of hard to get away from everything being a node or a resource, which is part of the reason why we're moving into C# world. Is triple door in this now? No, Frelansky. Triple door is not in this. Triple door is something that we can do. I don't know if we can ever get to quad door, but I will do my best to get a triple door into the next version of this game for you. I'm gonna hit you with the triple door here. I should upload a 3-part emote that's just like the 3 pieces of the door opening together. Yeah, Godot is heavy OOP. Yeah. How many managers do you have on this project? We're gonna have a lot. We don't yet. Right now, the structure of what we're doing is like, we're gonna have some auto loads like the input handler, maybe an audio player. The scene tree, the root of the scene tree is gonna be this game manager. It's gonna handle the interaction between things like the auto loads. And then it's gonna pass stuff into a state manager, which is going to, this is a very small section of just what I've thought about so far. Pass stuff to a bunch of different managers. We'll end up with a scene manager who will place scenes back into the scene tree. And then those scenes will talk to the input handler, and we'll be back at the top of this loop. Even underneath the engine to develop it is heavy inheritance space. Yeah, it is. I actually don't mind like the the implementation of Godot on a low level. Like, it's fast, it's all C++, like it seems good. It's just, you know, when you favor flexibility over everything else, you do lose a lot. Like when you favor flexibility and ease of use, we're not even trying to implement this right now. We're just trying to implement this like simple straight architecture that lets us recreate our auto tiling system in C#. So this is all we need right now, really. We do need that view manager. But yeah, before I switched to Godot a year ago, I was doing the dots ECS stuff in Unity. So I had been doing mostly ECS stuff in Unity for like a few years by that point. It was cool. It was a very experimental package, but I love the job system and I love dots. The ECS stuff didn't really integrate with the rest of Unity's engine, which was a problem, so you had to recreate a lot of functionality yourself. So part of me wants to go back to some of that stuff. Not in Unity. I just want to take some of those sensibilities, some of the data-oriented design sensibilities with me into this project. But yeah, we've only been working on the C# side of this for like a week, so we have not developed our C# code base, and we're just really trying to recreate the existing GDScript functionality that we have right now. Project is 2D node-based or 3D node. It's 2D node-based. So at the moment, here's kind of our organization. So we have a starship here. Starship, which consists of a hull stack, like a stack of those hulls. The hull stack consists of a stack of levels. At the moment, 6 levels. I think we're switching to 5 in the next version. And then each of those levels consists of, you can't even see anything on here. It consists of tile map layers. So right now our game is just tile map layers, which are new to 4.3. But I really dig tile map layers. Having each layer be its own node really helps with sorting and indexing. Because our stuff is kind of built on the fly. Oops. By the auto tiler based on the underlying block composition. So when we place a floor block here, it's actually rendering 3 different tiles. It's rendering the left side tile, the right side tile, and the top tile. And then same thing with the wall. When you render a wall, you're rendering the left side wall, the right side wall, and the top side wall. Oh, that's interesting how that works. It's cutting away the very block we're trying to place, which is not ideal, but it's fine. And it lets us get this really nice, smooth, outlined surface without any manual labor. Have you worked with threads directly, no jobs or ECS? No, I have not. That stuff is dark magic to me. We'll probably eventually do some threading for this game. But I'm of the opinion that you should get everything working single-threaded and then think about threading. Jobs and the job system and the burst compiler made it so easy in Unity to do all of that stuff. I kind of got spoiled a little bit. All right, so let's keep looking at what we have and what we need to move over. So things like the ship volume. So I want each ship to hold its own tile block. collection instead of just having it be a single one. Probably is probably the answer. So we should probably have a ship. The ships should probably be classes. Let's do a struct, because a ship should just be a data type. So for a ship, we need things like public, vector 3i, extent. I kind of like just having a store of all of this stuff, but I think being able to keep the ships separately is probably better. And we'll have like an array of blocks. I don't want a Godot array, like a system array. Oh. That's just me not remembering how to declare things. So we'll just have our extent and our blocks for now. That seems fine. Probably want some kind of ID. So this is a way we could do it, or we could just have a single big list of blocks on the game manager. And that would be vector 4. You would index into it by a vector 4, because this is just a vector 3, XYZ. But we could make it so you index into it with a vector 4, and the W would just be different ships. So each ship. And that would be easier to iterate through all of them, because we wouldn't need a separate list of ships. That's probably bad, but it would be simple. Kind of torn on that. When you started working on this project, how many hours per week you give for this project? I started on this iteration of the project early this year. And I put on average probably like 15 to 20 hours a week on it. Trying to change my work schedule so that I actually can put something more like 30 hours into it. That would be my goal. I think that's what I would be happy with, would be 30 hours. What about you? Do you have any projects that you're working on, that you're excited about? So what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to enqueue commands here, some of these commands for the different managers that need it. Like the view manager will want to know about viewer changes. The editor. I feel like calling this the yard manager is really stupid. I feel like it should just be the edit manager because that's what it does. People are going to be like, what the fuck is a yard manager? And it's like short for shipyard. I call it edit man. I'm going to try to be plain and not weird. Lansky yard manager is a fancy way to say gardener. Yeah, exactly. There's so many naming decisions that I would make differently if I was just making this for myself over a short period of time. But like, I'm sharing development of this, so like I feel responsible to like make it as plain as possible what I'm doing. Which is part of the reason why I bothered to do like diagrams. I'm gonna call this edit manager. Favorite 5 anime card game, but it looks like the market is dead. Oh, well, it depends. Depends. The card-based ship game that came out recently, which looked interesting. It's like, where is it? What was it called? Deck building. I think deck builders are always in fashion. You worked on FPS, server, authoritarian. Just to know how games like CS work. That's pretty dope. Video game. Deck building ship video game. It like just came out. What is it called? Breachway. Breachway. It seems to be not reviewing too well, but it looks super cool. Got cards. Oh, Hooded Horse is publishing it. Yeah, you build out a deck for your ship. Wow, this trailer is cut together really quickly. You navigate the star map, engage in interactions, and then they got this cool ship building, or ship fighting with cards mechanic. It's cool. Just came out. It's probably not as cool as Cobalt Core though. Cobalt Core is my favorite, like card-based ship game. This game is like perfect. So this is dope. I love this. You got like cute little characters. Got these incredible weird ship components. It really handles the roguelike aspect of it well with like the cycling. It's a very cool card game. Yeah, this one looks really good. I love the pixel art. I could never do pixel art like this. My pixel art is like really low resolution and janky. This stuff is so good. I mean, their ships are pretty low resolution too, but it all looks so good. I play this on my Steam Deck all the time. Yeah, highly recommend Cobalt Core for a card game involving spaceships. It's just hard to be this creative. That's a very based statement. Sold, Felipe. Welcome to the chat. Yeah, Cobalt Core, highly recommend. It was in the Indie Game Festival this year. I got to check it out. It was very cool. He sold me on it very quickly. Let's edit state. Maybe build state was fine. Design skill is real underrated. Design skill is hard. Design skill is truly hard. That's why I honestly like diagramming stuff for like systems design like this for the programming, but for design, I think iteration is king. Like you just need to put something together and try it. Says the person who spent a year working on just a tool for building ships that has nothing to do with gameplay. Can we get an on-screen chat of both streams? Feel real lonely over here. I'm sorry, Freelansky. I need to look into that because there's actually rules about that. Twitch and YouTube actually have rules about displaying both chats simultaneously on the stream. I think it's forbidden, but I need to double check. We'll just make our list of managers. Not worry too much about it right now. File manager. Yeah, I think Twitch was once iffy about showing YT chat, but you want to say they rolled that back? You might be right. I'll look into that. If it's doable, I'll try to do that. Because now that we're in, like, I feel like when I was in Godot, I didn't have a lot of room with the inspector and everything up here. But if we're going to be mostly working in Rider here, there's a ton of space above my head where I could totally fit a chat. You have good programming skill, but art and design is real important too. Yeah, that's what comforts me. Is I'm like, I can't do anything particularly well, but I can at least do a little bit of everything. Like I do my own art. Don't really need getter and setters for these, do I? Not even double door remote. Oh, keep us. Well, maybe I'll add the double door. That'd be pretty funny. There's a double door for you. Even if it's just 2 rows of chat to your side. At most, it'd sit over the console. Yeah, that's a good point. And then that would maybe be a little more compatible with like a sprite in Godot. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. I would like to be able to have more of an interaction between the 2 chats. I'm actually kind of surprised that we have as much action on the YouTube side as we do. I honestly think YouTube has changed their approach to recommending live streams recently. You see a lot of streams do display both chat and a third-party tool. Yeah, okay. I mean, we could do that in OBS with like StreamerBot. I would just need to figure out how I'd want to display it. Part of the reason I don't do that is I don't want to have to edit these if like someone gets through and says something wild in the chat. I don't want to have to edit the videos, which is part of the reason why I don't display chat on the stream. 5 favorite 5 animes. I'm gonna break your heart, Warami, and say I probably don't like enough animes to have a top 5. Someone asked me this the other day though. It's probably currently I really like Delicious in Dungeon. I haven't finished watching it, so I don't know where I'd place it, but I'm enjoying that. And then my favorites are probably Way of the House Husband, which is like amazing. I love that one. And then, you know, back in the day, I loved, you know, Space Dandy and to an extent like Cowboy Bebop. I think I prefer Space Dandy. I think that's it. I can't think of a 5th anime. But either Twitch or YouTube doesn't like it if YouTube and chat. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. YT has been kicking off for the stream, but you're comfy on that side of the fence. I know, it's wild. One of my live streams has 1,000 views after like a week. It's like episode 81. It's like 1,000 views now. I don't know why they've decided to blow it up like that. Typically my live streams before 2 weeks ago would get like 10 total views. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to up my game as far as being entertaining and being somewhere people like to hang. So I need to work on that. I also want to be able to get like info if someone like subscribes on YouTube while the stream is running. I need to hook up my streamer bot stuff. All right, we're getting distracted. So where are we going to hold the ship data? The responsible adult thing to do would be to have each ship exist separately and to have it store its own array of blocks. I guess this isn't destruct. This would really be a class. And then we would just provide tools for iterating, for reasoning about the ship inside here. Or we could honestly, and this would be useful because we could define custom extents for each ship. Or we could just dump it in the game manager and just have like one huge block of all the tile blocks organized by ship, indexed by W. I'm kind of torn by the two options there. For now, I'm tempted to just dump it in game manager, but game manager really shouldn't hold data like that. I guess it will need to hold lists of ships. I guess the ship manager can do it. The nice thing about storing it all together increases the likelihood that it's all sitting in cache when we iterate over it. But we really don't need to iterate over different ships. Like if one ship calls out to another ship and needs to know about its blocks, that seems so unlikely. Yeah, that seems deeply unlikely. It seems like we're just gonna pluck a ship, iterate over the ship's blocks, and then pluck the next ship. In which case we don't really care. Yeah, the ship can be a class. It is supposed to just be a data holder, though. We'll keep it as a struct. No, we don't want to pass something this big around by value. It is a class. We want to pass to something like a ship by reference. And then we'll iterate over the blocks in the ship. All right, so for now, all we're gonna really do, we're gonna call the view manager. So let's get our view manager. The view manager is gonna have a public Do I have a base manager class? I probably should. These should all probably inherit from some base manager class. I'm gonna think about that for a little bit. All right. So what we do need to do is we need to pass this view information forward. I almost just want to have a queue that's just like viewer input, and then we can just pass the queue to the view manager and it will process it. View queue. We'll say something like public queue Needs to be a command. All right, let's just make like an input command. The input command will have an enum, public enum, command. We can be like shift view. What did I call it? It was like shift view, twist view, zoom view, shift viewer, twist viewer, zoom viewer. Input already exists. I can't just call it input, right? Oh yeah, that's a namespace in Godot. I don't want to mess with that. What did I do? There we go. Should we just separate them out between viewer commands and... I'm going to be smart and I'm going to have like base classes and stuff, but right now I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to try to express everything as simply as possible, and then we'll make it more sophisticated later. It's really hard not to just start thinking ahead. We just need all of these. Use block tool, swap block tool, toggle erase mode. Okay, they need to be a little different, I'm realizing. Because like swapping the block tool, you need to know what block tool you're swapping in. That's really the only one though. Maybe it'll just be a command and then like a value. I'm gonna call this a viewer command. It needs to be different than an editor command. Build succeeded, and that's 5 minutes to 5, otherwise known as home time. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Furlansky. Public float. This is gonna be a mount. This is all we really need for the viewer command at the moment. We just need to know what the command is and what the amount is. Say public viewer command queue, viewer commands. Public queue. Viewer command. Viewer commands. What are you complaining about? Oh, you need to be imported. So for each of these, we'll just say viewer commands dot enqueue, new viewer command. I need a constructor. No, I don't. Oh, oops. Public command. It's really bad. Call this command type. Mount is a mount. That's fine. I hate how I'm gonna have to like tell Ryder how I like my code. I can't ignore all of these warnings and suggestions, all the little squigglies. So I'm gonna have to like, I haven't used Ryder in Godot. I'm gonna have to like teach it how I want to do this. These are all single line. Can I just... I like that. Will it do that for me automatically? There we go. Like that, that's simple. Alt-Enter lets you quickly fix or permanently ignore those warnings. Or pressing that, yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm overwhelmed by all of this after a year in just GD, and just in Godot, not dealing with any of that. This is an okay pattern. I don't think it's the best, but I think it'll be okay for us for now. We'll just have viewer commands and editor commands. Will IDE slap? Yeah, exactly. It does slap. Copy basically this whole thing over. This needs way more information, which is unfortunate. And it only rarely needs this, so this would be integer. Actually, this would be... I need a subtype of editor command that includes what block type. Oh, what's it called? Block.composition. So yeah, this is only needed in one case. Yo, what up? Happy Friday. Oh, hey. Hey, I'm Suck. How's it going? How are you doing? Happy Friday to you as well. We're kind of chilling, just kind of working up from the bottom here with our C#, our new C# build. Making some little commands. I guess we can take, if we keep this and it has the block, we can use this. We can pass in the block tool and send it on. It's not terrible. All right, we'll keep it for now. Hey, Yoris. Is it Yoris? How's it going? Welcome in. I know there's people coming in going, damn, see that looks sharp? Yep. Hey, Venom. If anyone wants to see the tool we're working on, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep poking around in here. I know new people come in all the time. And I always like showing it off because it seems to be the thing that the cutaway and the auto tiling and all that stuff. People seem to like that. Use block tool, swap block tool, toggle erase, toggle erase mode. I kind of want to just call this toggle eraser. Which means I need to change it over here as well. Still think the auto tiler is the coolest one. Thank you. I'm very proud of that. That is kind of the bedrock of what we're trying to do here. Scott, welcome in. Do you find much issues doing C# and Godot? I'm going to read the rest of the question, but my caveat is I just started using C# and Godot like this week. But I have a lot of experience in C#. That's over a year old. That's rusty. Interested in giving it a shot, but not particularly fond of the idea of using GDScript as it's not really transferable elsewhere. That's the why you do it. I know a developer named Sorcery Story who came over from Unity as well, and they brought their entire code library over with them. So like they were able to transfer their game from Unity to C# or from Unity to Godot easily, like so easily. Yes, it is. The weird Dutch names. It's not weird. It's cool. I used to read out people's full names in the chat, and I'm like, I'm just gonna I'm gonna not do that. It's weird because in Twitch, no one ever goes by their full name. On Twitch side, it's always like Venom Weed. I feel less like I'm doxing people by calling them out. Pretty sure you could almost sell your 3D auto tiling as a plugin. Maybe it's backed by such a weird. So my 3D auto tiling will work for you if you have multiple isometric decks, and each deck consists of a tile map layer for each surface. So like if you want a tile map layer for the X face, the Y face, and the Z face of every cubic object, like there's probably a generic version of it that would work for everybody, but like it's just built so specifically for exactly my circumstances. It's like, do you have 5 or 6 stacks of layers? Do you have floors followed by walls with the ceilings on the next layer up? So you only have floors, you have no ceilings. Do you want to render separate layers for the floors and the walls, which we do because we're doing this stuff, because we're doing the cutaway stuff. It's so specific to my use case. But I think the principle could be applied pretty easily to a lot of games. So I am going to try to make a YouTube video about this process when it's done. I think that'll be my first YouTube video. Be like how to make a, not how to, I'm not going to make tutorials, but it'll be like making an auto tiler in Godot. Maybe put that out at like the early next year or something like that. But yeah, you'd need to have such a specific use case for this, for it to be at all relevant to you. Hey, NanoDev. Unity 6 just dropped. That's true. I was watching someone use it a little bit. It's interesting. I don't think I'll ever go back, especially as like a solo dev pixel artist. Because for pixel art, Godot is truly, like, I feel spoiled now thinking about how pixel art is implemented in like engines like Unity. Like having pixel perfect placement. Like being able to open like a, I don't know. Let's see if I can pick something here. Being able to open a door here and just not only have perfect pixel perfect rendering, like, but also pixel perfect collisions. Like the collision shape is like, that is incredible. A little door. Leandro, Unity has lost so much reputation with that runtime fee. Not a lot of people are going back. Yeah, I mean, they rolled almost everything back and they put out a new Unity version. So like, I don't blame people that do go back, but I'm not. I would never. Couldn't be me, as the kids say. Scott, sounds good. You've got a moderate C# background, more experience with various web programming languages, starting to dabble in game dev. Nice. Your stream seems interesting. I'll probably stick around and follow along this dev journey. I really appreciate that. Yeah, YouTube has only recently decided that they want to start recommending me to people, my live streams especially, which I didn't think live streams did very well on YouTube. But we're multi-streaming, and I'm glad we are, because it seems like they've changed their mind, and we're getting a lot more traction on YouTube, and I'm really happy with all the community members coming in and hanging out. I mean, I'm no expert. We're going on this journey together. Hopefully you learn from my mistakes. And it'll be nice to share my triumphs with people when they do come along. Cubis, Unity devs that tried Godot are like, get that out of my face. Meme when ends in sparkly eyes once they try it. Yeah, exactly. The other thing, like from a game dev beginner, is that Unity has so many more tutorials for it than Godot seems to. That is probably true. Unity also probably has a lot of outdated tutorials, though. All right. Let's just enumerate. So use block tool. Yeah, I need to not do it this way. I'm like using enums instead of like sub types. Like I should just have a command, editor command, and then have specific commands like use block tool, whatever, and then just implement an I command, implement an interface. I should be doing this very differently than how I'm currently doing this here. Let's think about that. I don't usually use the command pattern, so I'm a little rusty on that sort of thing, but I know it's what I want to do here. But who has the cooler community? Here's the real question. Who has the cooler plush? I think I know the answer to that question. It's this guy. This guy. Look at his little legs. Like, how adorable is that? Like, don't you want to just switch right now to Godot? Say goodbye, Godot. Godot bot. I love my Godot plushie. He sits on my desk with me. Nothing else sits on. I have like a super minimalist desk. It's got like just Godot bot. Remember Ogre? Best boy, yeah, exactly. It does have a bigger asset library and tutorials, but give Godot some time. Yeah, I think give Godot some time. Only the essentials. Yeah, you do, but you're scared. I don't know. I've used both, and I used Unity for like over a decade. Godot is more approachable. It's more approachable. It's easier. You just saw this from your recommendation. The preview made it seem like you were wearing a Godot mask going up to the camera. I wish. Welcome in, Inertia. See, this is what we do. These are the kind of antics we need to do to get people to click on the preview. Cool, they show a preview. I thought they just showed the thumbnail. Because my thumbnail is like very minimalist and it doesn't draw a lot of interest. You're off. All right, Ferlansky. Have a good trip. Have a good commute home. Have a good weekend. How's everyone doing though today? Anyone got any awesome weekend plans? Especially weekend plans involving game dev. Yeah, I really don't love this. Like, if your command type and command type command. Honestly, the commands could have behaviors, but I also kind of want them to just be data types. I like passing around data and having the managers handle the... So it's hard when you read about things like these, like the command pattern in OOP. People would tell you, just put the function in the command, and the command will do it. It's like, no, I'd rather just put the data in the command and then have a manager iterate over the commands and do it. We're gonna implement it like this, and then I'm gonna see if I hate it, and we'll probably change it. Undo last edit, redo, undo, redo, save, load. Okay, that's all I gotta do. But I'm getting distracted. I'm also just tired. I don't know if load ship design is appropriate to treat the same way as all these, but petition to change profile pic on the channel to Godot bot. I'd lose my brand recognition, but it's not a terrible idea. NanoDev, you played a game dev, so you guess that's awesome. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I on my weekends I end up just game deving anyway. How's it going, Nano? How's dev? I wish I could have stuck around and seen what you were working on. But I often have a meeting like immediately following my stream. Oh, you planned a game dev, okay. That's reasonable as well. You're a complete beginner to game dev. You find that Godot is very intuitive to work with. I agree. You messed around a bit with Unity, but you definitely resonate more with Godot. Yeah, I think Skeetimus Prime. I think you're onto it right there. All right, so we're gonna iterate all of these the same way. Say editor commands. Oh, we need an editor commands field. Love that autocomplete. I see. So editor commands in queue. A new editor command. Yeah, we don't need to specify the block here. We only need to specify the block in one of these, which is this one. How are we gonna do this? I'm gonna need like a matching enum. There's an argument to be made to not have the input go directly through the game manager, but to have the game manager call an input manager. Maybe not. So yeah, what are we gonna do here? Are we gonna have just matching enums, or we just have, will we have the input handler reference the enum on this side? Let's try that. Lots of boring refactor of skills data. I feel like I'm going to be in the same place for a while. Like, I feel like we're not going to get new behavior for a long time. I mean, part of the reason why we're doing this now is so that we can incorporate all these cool variant block shapes, like sloped block shapes, so we can actually start making things that have aesthetic qualities to them. We're also going to need to start drawing components. And we also need to be able to render a miniature version of the ship, which I haven't really done yet. We need to make sprite sheets for these now that they're pretty much done. We have a few more of these that we need to make. Maybe we'll finish them up at the end of the stream. We're missing a few from this set. Maybe we'll end with that. We got time though. We got time. We're still going strong. All right. So what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna decide how the input handler was gonna pass through this information. DI dot. Oh, okay. I could just say block dot comp dot deck. That's easy. Okay, so GDScript easily sees the C# solution. I was actually really curious about that. It's going the other way is a little more awkward. Bulk. Okay, that's easy so far. Honestly, having this be... Oh yeah, I have this as an auto load just so other characters can refer to this. Because scenes are going to call into the input handler, and then the input handler will pass stuff along to the game manager and queue it up each frame. Queue it up and then pass it along, obviously. I'm suck. So is your background traditionally in game dev? I mean, I've been doing hobbyist game dev for a long time. But, you know, nobody pays me to make games, if that's what you're asking. My background is typically in programming. I've only just really started doing the art, doing pixel art in the last year or so, and it's still pretty rough. This is like the one finished piece I have, which kind of lays out the style guide for the game, really. So I'm still very much learning how pixel art works. I also know a bit about music, so I haven't really been able to do much music or sound effects for this game yet, but I'm kind of a generalist. But no, I haven't been lucky or unfortunate enough, depending on how you think of it, to do professional game dev commercially. But yeah, learning how all this stuff works, learning how like the perspective of my little pixel art works is really cool. Dimetric is an interesting perspective to work in. Play any instruments? Yeah, Leandro, I play a few. The only one I'm really competent at is probably the mandolin. Which I actually recorded for my first game jam earlier this year for Ludum Dare. When I have the when I put the remastered version out there, hopefully before the end of the year, I'll share it. I'll have a bunch of new music recorded for it. All right, let's finish this. So tab, but also block equals. Wait. This was wrong. This went wrong. It's not block comp, it's block.composition. Why doesn't that... Oh, we're looking here. We're looking at the GD version. That's okay, actually. For now. That's going to become less okay later. I have to come up with a better solution. Right now we actually have this block enum elsewhere. I'm gonna call this type. That's awesome. Majority of programmers, you know, are musicians too. That's interesting. I think it has to do with the kind of mathematical nature of music. I'm actually not very good at music theory. As music is therapy and programming is a nice path to losing your mind, it kind of makes sense. Yeah. I think it has to do with like kind of the structure of music. All right, so this is going to be block equals block. Oh, we need to pass in block dot type block type. Block equals block type, or block type equals block type. All right. I might seriously refactor a lot of this over the weekend. I'm still kind of deciding on the architecture. I feel like once I've settled on more of these questions, as I remember how like C# works, and also navigate the peculiarities of C# and Godot, well, we're gonna get moving faster and faster here. We're just still in kind of an exploratory phase for this part. Swap block tool. I really love the autocomplete. I'm really glad I didn't, like, I haven't used Writer for a year, but I did not get, like, drop my license. I talked to some of the Writer people at GDC because I wasn't confident the Writer, like, understood how to use GDScript and everything like that, but it's good enough that I think I could program my GDScript in here. I don't currently. Kind of because I actually really like the Godot IDE. Actually don't mind it. But yeah, the quality of life in a full IDE like Writer is kind of incredible. All right, so we're in queuing. I actually want these to all be expression bodies because there's no reason not to make them expression bodies right now. So if I do this, I click Alt-Enter. No. Alt-Enter is not great for me. I feel like I want to change that. Alt-Enter is on two different sides of the keyboard for me. I have a weird keyboard. All right, this is fine. Check if enum parameter is defined by enum type. What does that do? Ah, I see. It's a throw. That's probably a good thing to do. I don't know if I really care. I'll be curious. Writer, yeah, Writer supports GDScript. Yeah, I haven't tried it, but it also doesn't appear in my solution is maybe the weird thing about it, but I can still open it. So I could grab, so I actually don't need to be jumping back and forth all the time. I could just be hanging out here. So like stardoc.gd. I need to remember what all these various temp files are for and if I actually need them. So yeah, we got our GDScript file in here. I kind of don't want to do this because I don't want it to yell at me about like style choices and stuff right now. Kind of want to keep the GDScript in Godot. But yeah, it edits it just fine. I don't like some of the way that it renders it because like GDScript doesn't have like curly brackets or anything like that. So it renders it a little weirdly, but yeah, it reads totally fine. All right, so we have our commands. Passing the commands down. So we're in queuing. Yeah, I really don't want to do this here, do I? Because we need to dequeue. I guess I'd pass the queue to the input handler and then the input, or the input manager, and then the input manager dequeues it. I don't know. I need to think about how I handle inputs. But anyway, for all of these systems, some of these run every turn, every time. Some of them are controlled by the state manager. So there's going to be a state manager that will gate the processing of a lot of this stuff. So we'll do a lot of stuff with like a stack state to control this stuff. Control which managers are running because we're in certain states or not. But right now we're just running everything because we don't need to introduce the concept of the states yet. We just run everything. Oh yeah, I didn't do this yet because I thought I was going to have maybe a manager, a sub-manager base class. Do that so we can make a class sub-manager. Sub-manager can implement things like public void, process, float. And it should be a double delta. Go to our view manager, say like public class view manager is a sub manager. Say like public override void process delta. Is that not right? Oh, it's virtual. Ah, I see. Right. So we just call our various managers, viewmanager.process.delta. They probably don't all need delta, but some of them might. The view manager might. Pass it anyway, even if we don't. We can be selective about it. But for now, we'll just pass it. Make all of these sub-managers. This iteration here. I have a co-working event tomorrow all day, so I'm going to work on this a lot and think about the architecture and talk to some people. Probably make some changes. Have a stronger sense of how I want to structure all of this. And next week will probably be a little faster, a little bit more clear what we're doing. This is basically the structure. We have a core manager who's node, so they're hooked into ready and process. And then we have a bunch of sub managers that all defer to this. And then so like the view manager would manager would like variable viewer commands is everyone needs a reference to the game manager, right? Public game manager, private. Actually, we probably just flush the commands here. Probably flush the commands on the game manager side after we send them through. Maybe not. Yeah, I gotta think about how I want to do some of that stuff. 9:36. Got about 20-30 minutes left. What do I want to do? I think I need to think about a little bit more stuff before I proceed much more with this. Maybe we work on some art. Won't take very long. Just got a couple of pieces we need to make. Just gonna make these. Actually, this will take like 5 minutes. But let's do it. We're making miniature versions of these, which are kind of degenerate because of our 4-to-1 or 4x1, 4 over, 1 down diametric perspective. These ones specifically are kind of degenerate. We can make some new ones, actually. We need to make some new ones. Like, we need to make one that extends this up. I think. Probably to the halfway point? No, it wouldn't be the halfway point, would it? Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about that. Actually, I guess this is that. This is the floor and the wall together, and they form a single slope. This is what you would use. There are a handful of other shapes we need, like little pyramids. We need a couple little pyramids. Why is this upside down? Why did I make this upside down? What's wrong? So to make one of these, we just do this. Grab this, bring it over here. Make our little miniature, carve away the unnecessary stuff that we don't want. Left with just the shape that we like here. Finish that. Throw all that in. All right, that's more like it. This will tessellate. Yeah. Oh, so we're missing a piece. We need to actually finish with this. Pop. There we go. Then we need to make one of the interesting shapes. We need to make this shape. And this shape is this one combined with this one, right? Yeah. So we take the lower half of this well as this. Actually, I'm gonna put this one down first, and then put this one over it. Yeah, coming up with these seams is really helpful. Make this process a lot easier. Curious. Is it the other green one? I might have picked the wrong one. You're supposed to end up with this. That's the correct one. I think I did this wrong. I think it's supposed to be... Oh. Yeah, how did I end up with the wrong shape there? Might have done this wrong. I think it's this twice. Oh no. It's... So satisfying watching this slot in. Yeah, exactly. That's why I bothered. I ended up figuring out what the seam shape should be for the front faces and the back faces, so that whenever you match the two up, they just shunk. And they have an overlapping vertical outline, which is important. For whatever reason, this wasn't like totally intentional, but it's kind of like a side effect of the perspective we're in, to have everything be the right size. Like this block is 32 by 32. And what happens when you tessellate them, the vertical outlines overlap, or the horizontal outlines, I should say, the outlines that go left to right, they overlap, but the vertical outlines that go up and down, they do not. They like stack. Or they like, you know, they accumulate or whatever. I don't know what you want to call it. They don't overlap. And that's all well and good and trivial when we're talking about these cubic blocks here. But when we're talking about these more complicated shapes, oops, getting them to do that every time was like not trivial. I redrew most of these like 3 or 4 times just to get it exactly how I wanted it to be, like that. But it's nice. The irony is that the auto tiler is going to get rid of these most of the time. Because these two surfaces are the same, the auto tiler will just erase these lines. But we want it to be there in case the auto tiler wants the outline. It needs to be there. Okay, so I did this wrong. I think I actually want... I think this should be higher up. This. It doesn't matter. The miniature ones are kind of hard to do. There's a lot more room here for this stuff. All right, this looks more correct. Looks a little weird, but it looks more correct. Probably passable. These are going to be so small on the screen that they don't need to look brilliant. They just need to look kind of correct. That's fine. That's basically this at half scale. Yeah, I like that. I can live with that. Make the other side. Remember, the FTL gameplay loop is the future. Those who oppose progress are enemies of gamerkind. Hey, Broheart TTT. TTV. Wow, that's hard to say. I agree. Welcome in. I'll be watching your career with great interest. That's not ominous. That's not ominous at all. By the way, what's this playlist? It's great for dev work. I use pretzel.rocks. This is the Pretzel Rocks ambient playlist. No, this is their chill guitars playlist. I use Pretzel Rocks because Pretzel Rocks provides music that is both YouTube and Twitch safe, which is pretty important for me because I'm multi-streaming. It's kind of limited in its selection, but it is safe, so I don't really have a choice. But how are you doing, Broheart? Working on a little art here at the end of the stream. This is also a degenerate shape that we end up with here. This thing that's going on. But that's okay. Degenerate shapes are shapes. Shapes too here. All right, there are the miniatures. Now the hard part is I need to make tile atlases out of these. But I'll do that off stream. That's like super boring. It's like deeply boring. That's responsible. You slap that Spotify random button and leave the muting to the gods. Yeah, I would be less worried about that on Twitch, because like I don't really care if my Twitch VODs get muted. Excuse me, but I'm way more terrified of YouTube coming down on me for that sort of thing. Chilling, happy Friday. Working on last chapter of your document thriller game. Document thriller. That is a genre. That is one of those mashup genres that I don't think anyone would ever. Is that like Papers, Please like a document thriller game? Meanwhile, you're saving every piece of pixel art in a separate 1280 by 1280 PNG with no idea what you're doing in Godot. It should be fine. We actually have separate tile atlases for everything, and it's kind of tedious, but I tried to like future-proof it a little bit so that like we have an atlas with all the pieces we want, and we use different source IDs so we can use different offsets and stuff, but we have a different one for every single texture, which I think is not sustainable. I think eventually I need to mash this together into a single one and just offset it. Unless I start building tile sets programmatically. Because, like, what if I have, like, more than just 3 types of tiles, you know? I guess that's why I kind of did it here. So there'd be, like, the inner type and then, like, inner subtypes. I don't know. I don't like organizing sprite sheets. What's the problem with the crew member GD script? Input handler not declared in the current scope. Oh, it's because I've removed it. That's fine. too. That's the other reason I want the input handler to be an autoloader instead of like a C# input manager. I want it to like, I want people to be able to connect their signals to it or connect to signals so that we can route all of the input through the autoload input handler when it's coming from UI elements or scenes like nodes. Which I guess would also be UI elements essentially. It would be like a character with like a mouse pickable area. Excuse me. We don't need input where we're going. It's called Spud Customs, like paper please with potatoes. I love that. You need to get better at using autoload. You just made your first global.gd last week. Really? I've found a lot of use with autoloads. Input is the obvious one, but like you can also do like sound management stuff, like audio playing when it's like audio playing doesn't need to be spatial. I think there's definitely some good uses. Yeah, I think it's good for input and audio. Kind of tedious stuff. I definitely do that for a lot of settings. Like my audio settings is an auto load and the audio playing, yeah, so that you can play background music and the background music doesn't pause when you switch scenes, right? Like you switch scenes from like the main menu into the game or from different menus if you implement them as different scenes. And you can just keep the music playing in the background because it's outside of that scene structure. And technically it's at the top of the scene structure, but it feels like it's outside of it. Your process function looks wild. That'd be so nice. Most of your cutscene transitions. Oh yeah, believe me, I shouldn't be preaching. Our last version of the input handler. We have the system that's currently running the thing that actually works right now, which is our whole like shipbuilding tool set, like this auto tiler and all this stuff, like the part of the game that actually functions. I need to make it so dragging the floor across a set with walls doesn't erase the walls. It should just add floors and keep the walls. I'm gonna make it do that. But this whole thing, this is gross. Look at this in here. It's just a process function with just raw if else action statements for like 300 lines, 200 lines. So I'm cleaning it up, but yeah, don't be worried. The first implementation of anything should be jank like this. I fully believe that the first implementation of a system should just be like some monolithic class that just like shoves everything in main, like and then you get more as you start to peer into the abstractions that it would be possible, then you get a little more complicated. Thank you. You started doing isometric in Godot a few weeks ago for a mushroom-themed Age of Empires demake. I love that. But you got frustrated and decided to stick to straight 2D. Yeah, isometric tile stuff is a little hard to reason about sometimes, especially when drawing it as well. Do the same thing for dragging and interaction with items. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. I'm definitely trying to get more clever, which is why we've switched over to this C# area. Because like our intention is that all of the input will come in through the input handler and it will pass it to the game manager, which is like the root of our scene tree. And then that passes stuff into the state manager. We determine our state. We figure out which managers need to run from that. They do their thing. We pass it all back down through this intermediate state in C#, give it to the scene manager. And the scene manager then updates or instantiates the scenes that we actually need in the scene tree. So we don't actually need it. Like if we're not rendering it, we don't need it in the scene tree. So it just exists only in data land. But if we need a scene for it, like it's visible or whatever, we make the scene for it. And then those scenes will have like UI pickable elements. Like if it's a crew member or a thing that you need to be able to select and move, they'll have those UI pickable areas and stuff. And those scenes will pass their inputs to the input handler, and then we start the whole process again. The input handler passes it to the game manager goes into all of our sub-managers in C#. That's kind of what this is a new system architecture we're trying to implement here, where most of our stuff doesn't exist in the scene tree. Most of it is just existing in pure data, like not backed by nodes or resources or anything like that. Whoa, system diagrams? Yeah, exactly. It's pretty rough at the moment. This is going to get nasty. At the moment, we're actually just trying to implement this one, which is just a straight, no branching, just go through and implement our auto tiling stuff. Right now, I'm just trying to get comparable behavior in C#, but eventually we want to start doing some of those more complicated things. That's kind of the intention eventually. Sorry. Wish list. You some kind of commercial software engineer? Absolutely not. I'm the opposite. I'm very much the opposite. But I'm trying to do better about documenting my process and making it visible both for myself and for the people following me. Appreciate that. Demo. Yeah, we don't. We need this diagram on Sprite, but using only one layer. Yeah, I'll work on that. Yeah, Obsidian is too good. This canvas tool in Obsidian is like kind of magic. I don't use Obsidian for much. I probably will use it a lot once I start writing out the narrative stuff going on. But I really like it. I really like this for system diagram stuff. I think it's fancy. But I really appreciate that, Broheart. Very cool, appreciated. Yeah, I didn't either. I just right clicked and I think one of the buttons over here on the side, yeah, create new canvas. In the canvas, I'm using it for just flowchart, but you can also just put images in it. Like you can add media and you can add notes. So you can have more substantial tech. So I could just add like this here. So I could just add entire pages from my notes section here, which is wild. So like instead of just having it be game manager as a card, I could actually input the game manager note, and we could just have the game manager note in there, and you can still treat it as if it's one of these little flow things. It's wild. This is insane what you can do. I could throw pictures in here. Obsidian's really cool. I don't use it to anywhere near its full effect. Could add some media. I'd have to go find some media, but add a web page. You can link out to web pages. So I could just be like, grab the GD Scripts web doc. So I can just embed a web page here. Like, how crazy is this? Isn't that awesome? And I can navigate. I can actually, it just treats it as if it's a web browser. Like, how cool is that? Yeah, for free software, this is pretty incredible. You also dropped a screenshot of the final chapter from this morning in Discord. Art is still a work in progress. Oh, okay, okay, cool. You have a shared Obsidian canvas with your co-dev for one of our games. He's about to lose his mind. You have a paid version of Obsidian. You're using it as a glorified Markdown editor. I don't know. It's pretty wild. Oh, I can just, it's like a quick grab system. I need to start adding art files here. Yeah, I should start adding Asprite files, copies of my Asprite files here. I wonder if I can add a reference to a file in another folder so that I don't have to actually... Like, can I link art here? I'll figure that stuff out later. It'd be cool. Yeah, it's wild stuff. Your game design for Spud Customs has gotten so complicated, even for a pretty simple $5 price point game for a Steam release. That is how that happens. It's surprising. You think are at like 12 markdown files, but flow diagrams would really help show how some of these gameplay features integrate and communicate. Yeah, you can do flow diagrams. I mean, I'm sure you already know about the graph view, which gives you a relational graph of your different stuff. So you can see like my 2024 game goals was like a Steam page, a vertical slice, and a game trailer. We're obviously not doing that. This is going to quickly become my 2025 game goals, but you can see, you can be like, oh, the game loop, what does that touch? Oh, it touches the game manager. What does the game manager touch? Oh, it touches serialization. Very cool stuff. The game lore branches out into narrative structure, and then you can like, I like this, but like the flowchart is much more helpful because this is kind of just like madness. Yeah, this stuff's cool. Obsidian is cool. I don't use it enough. Like, I don't do game design documents, really. I'm, like, more of an iterative person because I feel like the design changes so quickly, but I'm trying to be better. Trying to be better. All right. Well, it's 10 o'clock. I need to wrap this up. I'm going to get to my day job. This has been awesome. I appreciate everyone hanging out, as always. I'll be back on Tuesday. I gotta skip Monday. I gotta go into the office on Monday. Cheers, happy Friday. Yeah, thanks. You as well. It's interesting to see how well organized solo devs keep track of their progress on work. Oh, Broheart, thank you so much with the subscription. Beam him up. You got beamed up. Welcome to the USS Digital Iliad. Really appreciate the subscription. Itch build soon, please. Yeah, an itch build of my tool. Like my tool that has no gameplay. We're gonna be working on tools for a while, but a game this big, you need tools, or you're never gonna do it. That would also be cool. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we get. Follow you? How am I not following you? Hopefully I catch your stream. I'm very excited to see your project, more of your project. Love a good document thriller. It's so cool. All right. Yeah, you work crazy shifts, so your stream schedule is unpredictable. Well, I'm following, so I'll get notified. So I'm gonna keep an eye out because I'm excited to see your game and how that goes. I'm sure you'll be shipping it soon. All right. Well, I think that's it for me for this week. Pretty happy with our progress. December 6th. Oh, right. That's close. That's great. Are you in the next fest? You started after next fest submission closed? Oh, wow. That's a fast development cycle. Well, good on you to have a short project. This is like a 4 or 5. This is probably like a 5-year project we're on right now. We take breaks for jams, but I should really do shorter development cycles. But yeah, I'm excited to see how that turns out, and I hope I get to check in on some of your progress before then. Nice. That's good. All right. Well, appreciate everyone for stopping by. Thank you so much for the subscription, Broheart. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.